Hi, how are you, Miss Ashton? Today I am going to speak to you a little bit about identity management.
I'm fine, thank you, David. I'm not too sure what identity management is. Please tell me.
Well, identity management is the communication strategies people use to influence how others look at them.
So the way that people speak? Like speaking like a valley girl, or speaking like a gangster, say word.
Say word. That's exactly right. I also want to tell you about what we call the perceived self, and the presenting self. Have you ever heard of these terms before? It's okay if you haven't, I'll explain them to you. Well, perceived self can be very private. It can be private, because you probably won't want to reveal all of your true personality to another person. For example, you may be a very selfish person and no one may know that about you. And if they do know that you're selfish, they may not know to what extent. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I think I understand what you are saying. But what about how people view you? What if it's not the same image as you perceive yourself? What if how people view you is totally different from how you view yourself? What do you do then?
Great questions. It's not a matter of what you do, because no matter what, people will always have a personality that they don't want others to know about. And on the other hand, the presenting self is the image that a person shows to others. This image can be identical or different from the perceived image. So the presenting self is basically how people view you. Understand? I mean, you can tell the difference between public and private behavior. Try to remember a time when you were in your car and looked over at the car beside you and saw a driver, alone in their car, behaving in a manner that would never be acceptable in public. Everyone has their moments of backstage ways of acting. I mean, just think about it. You would probably act different in front of your bedroom mirror when the door was locked rather than wide open. People tend to appreciate the difference between public behavior and private behavior. Wouldn't you behave differently?
Yes. I do understand, and I would definitely behave differently in a private setting versus a public setting. But did you know that as humans we strive to construct multiple identities?
Do expand.
Well, most people perform a variety of roles in a day. Some may act as the respectful student or helpful friend. For example, at this moment you may play the role of a respectful and kind employee, and then when you go home you would probably play the role of a loving husband.
Very true, very true. So what you're saying is that people can have different personalities based on who they are with or where they are?
Yes, that's correct. There are also different influences on identity such as culture, diversity, sex and gender. We truly do strive to build multiple personalities.
Oh yes. I forgot to mention some examples of perceived self along with presenting self. Would you still like to hear about that?
I think some examples would be good.
Okay, so to start off, remember that the perceived self is how you view yourself, the person you believe yourself to be. And the presenting self is how others view you. Some examples of the perceived self for women are friendly, responsible, independent, capable, and sensible. On the other hand, the presenting self for women are active, responsible, able, bright, and warm. Examples of the perceived self for men are friendly, active, responsible, independent, and capable. The examples of the presented self for men are wild, able, active, strong, and proud.
Okay, this all sounds good. I'm starting to get a better picture. So from these examples, what would you say you are, for your perceived self?
Well, that's actually a good question. Well, I perceive myself to be a caring person, funny, and I can be sarcastic, which hopefully you didn't get a taste of during this conversation. For my presenting self, I have been told that I was demanding, especially at work. I have also been told that I'm honest and a funny person. The last thing that I have been told was that I'm very attentive.
Thank you, David, for sharing this wonderful information with me about perceived self and presenting self in respects to identity management. I will write up a report with all the information that you shared with me. Thank you again, and I look forward to seeing you at the monthly meeting, David.
Thank you, Miss Ashton, for giving me the opportunity to share this with you. Have a good day.